live.
So we don't have sharing rights. Could you enable that, please?
Yes, I'll do that. Okay.
Okay, got it.
Yep. All right, and we are live today. Welcome to another day of the E-Meet Your Architecture School sessions by dqlabs. The idea of these sessions are to help you build your preferred list of architecture schools, right? Especially if you're from Karnataka. What happens is once the CET ranks are announced, you need to put in your list of preferred schools. That's a very critical activity, and we are here to help you with that. As part of this process, we have created this E-Meet Your Architecture School series for you to interact with the top management of your architecture school and help you identify the best options that suits you. For those of you who have missed the previous session on the KCET and the COMEDK process, please watch this webinar. The link is in the description of the YouTube channel, and I will also share it in the chat room. If it depends whether you're attending the session on Zoom or YouTube. For those, this is going to be shared in both the chat or the description of the YouTube channel. All right, but this gives you a good idea as to what the process is for both COMEDK and CET and how you can choose your school. Now, today the school in focus is Reva University School of Architecture. So Reva University is one of the leading architecture schools in India. It's owned and promoted by the Divyashree Group, a very, very well-known and renowned name in the property development sector in India, and as well as, and especially Karnataka. The faculty of the school consists of really well-known academicians, and the university gives access to great infrastructure and technology. The promoters of this school also ensure that university students of the Reva University students get the best placements within their group, right? So, so it's great to have the team around here. We're very happy to have all the top management of Reva University School of Architecture participating here and attending this webinar. For those of you who think your friends need to see this and have missed out on today's webinar, this is live on YouTube. The recording of this session can be watched on YouTube a little later, but right now, over to the school. So thank you all so much. I'm going to stop screen sharing now. Thank you so much for coming out here and being part of this webinar. I know the management personally. Okay, I've been to the school, I've visited the school, I've found it to be a great place for students to study. So looking forward to hearing from you all. It would be great if you'll start introducing yourselves and then take this discussion from there.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for dqlabs and Dion. We've had an association going for a few years now. And as you said, you know us almost, we are like family. So thank you so much for giving us an opportunity to present about our school. And if there are questions from students, we'd love to hear what they are and we can answer to the best of our knowledge. So today I'm here at Reva University. You must be wondering what the setup is. We are also going live from the Media Center at Reva University at the School of Arts and Humanities. We are going to do this in a slightly different way. I've planned it out like a panel discussion. I have my team with me. I have Professor Pooja, Professor Roshni, and Professor Raghu with me. And I'm Professor Divyashree Group, and I'm heading the school here. So we'll do this like a panel discussion. Each of us takes on a few points that we'd like to elaborate upon. We have interspersed it with a couple of small videos so that the students are not bored, because I know that long PPTs tend to bore them. So we'll do it that way. And to start off, I think we'll start with a short video about who we are.
All right, that sounds great.
I hope you guys can see the screen.
Yes, it's visible.
Right. So that is a small introduction about who we are. We are the School of Architecture at Reva University. We are located in North Bangalore, not too far from the International Airport. We are on a beautiful, green, vibrant 45-acre campus. And within this campus, there are several schools. We have schools of engineering, schools of management, schools of law, School of Arts and Humanities, School of Performing Arts, and of course, we are special. We are the School of Architecture and Design. We started off in the year 2015. The university itself got a university status in 2013. And in 2015, we started with the architecture program, the 5-year BArch program. And right now in 2021, we introduced the Masters in Architecture and Environmental Architecture, the specialization which is very relevant in today's world. And this year, we are again growing with our program offerings. We are offering the BSc in Interior Design, which is again very industry oriented. We have put together a curriculum like no other. Like there is a term in real estate where they say location, location, location. I would say Reva University's USP is pedagogy, pedagogy, pedagogy. And that is something that we are all passionate about. We are a group who have come together to really make sure that students get the best advantage. So this is basically what we are. And as I said, what does it mean when you're an independent university? In Karnataka, we have several schools of architecture. Some of them are a private university. Some of them are within the umbrella of PTU. So we are a private university, which means we curate our own curriculum, we hand out our degree, we put together everything that is necessary, and we have the freedom to deliver the course and design the curriculum to what is our strength. So our strength definitely is experiential learning, because we are not a theory heavy curriculum. We look at students really understanding what the real world needs. They need to be problem solvers. They need to be able to think critically and deliver solutions that are rooted in context and can respond to the society and the community around. So this is our vision and philosophy. And I would say the best thing about our school is we have a wonderful team. And we have people with experience. We have a great team of visiting faculty who are practitioners who have been associated with us for since the inception of the school. And they bring in the practical aspect of it. Students have given very good feedback. We've had 2 batches passed out. The 2015 batch passed out in 2020. The 2016 and the 17 batch are already out there. Some have become entrepreneurs. They're already job providers. Some are working. Some have gone for higher studies. So we've had a very good feedback from the students that what we're doing it well, and we're doing it right. So this is the belief that we come from. And I will now pass it on to my colleague here, Professor Pooja. Pooja onboarded with us about more than a year ago, and she comes with a rich academic experience as well as a practical experience. And she has done her master's by research. So which means she brings in a different kind of a thinking process and pedagogy to the table. So she now heads the ERP and mentoring vertical, which is also closely associated with the academics of the school. So I hand it over to her to deliberate a little bit about curriculum and how the student is at the center of things here. Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am, for that lovely introduction. At Reva, we really believe that the student is supposed to be at the center of education. Like ma'am mentioned, we have tried experimenting with our academics to a point where sometimes two courses go well hand in hand. So we've tried and merged it. So building construction and structures go together as one course. We believe in differentiated learning because not every student possesses the same capacity and the same ability. So even within a classroom, we check on the capacity of a student and we try and curate the course according to their likes, preferences, capacities. We also have a lot of skill development programs that happen either interspersing between the semesters or even as part of the semesters. And we believe in a complete hands-on experience learning. So we will mostly try and learn from site learnings. We'll be going for site visits. We go for curated tours across India, both nationally as well as international tours we've had in the last couple of years. Having said all of that, a very personal one-on-one understanding of the student happens through the mentoring system in our college. So every faculty member is assigned around 15 to 20 students, and they are most welcome to share any issues, any problems related to the classroom, related to their personal lives. And if we make it a point, if we can encourage them, we do so. If we can solve their issues, we do so. So we are very hands-on even at a one-on-one session with our students, so that that intimate kind of a relationship is existing through the course. We are a 5-year course. We're very long that way. So it makes sense to build strong bonds within the 5 years that we spend with each other. Having said that, another USP of our college would be the way we tackle history of architecture. Generally, history is treated like a theory subject where notes are given and then you make notes and then that's about it. You just have to remember what got built in which year. But we've taken a slightly deviant way of taking this forward. We believe that the student has to actually experience a certain structure. So we take them on site, we ask them to sketch how a particular structure looks like, and we assess their understanding of history through quizzes and through sketches and through drawings. And we've completely eliminated the theory aspect of history. We look at it like a practical exam. We look at it like, oh, okay, can you answer questions for us? And if you could do that, then I think you understand history very well. So that's another USP that Reva stands for, that we've completely re-looked at the way someone can look at history of architecture. Yeah, why don't we look at the history of architecture with you? This was a documentation that was done by our students. Yeah, so you see over there that, through going to the temple is right here in Malleshwaram, in our own backyard, but how many of us have actually documented it? So students really understand scale, they've learned to work with their hands, they've learned to work as a team. So all of this comes into a subject like history, whereas uh, the time that I have studied in, or many of us have studied in, we've just learned a lot of facts about a style and written an exam and passed. So this is the difference that we are trying to inculcate into our curriculum and, make students think. Because, there is nothing that you can teach. This is something I strongly believe in. You can only make students curious and you can make them think. So that's our task is done. If you make them think, our task is done. So this is something that all of us believe in. Before we move on, I think a short video about the infrastructure of our school, that will be nice so that students get an idea about how we are. So that's a glimpse about the campus and how we do most of our classrooms outside, because theory, the little theory that we teach, it's boring if it's taught inside a classroom. So we have beautiful green garden and gazebos, so we just take them there. It brings out the inhibitions that students have within a class are all melted away when they're outside. So that's a great way of teaching students. So moving on, I like to hand it over to Professor Roshni. Roshni also comes with a very different experience. She studied her undergrad here, but she's gone on to do a master's from the UK. She's a conservation architect who's had also experience working. So since interestingly, she once came to our school, we were invited her to be a juror for the same history documentation studio. And she was so impressed with the way the subject is being handled that she said, if there are openings, I'd like to onboard as a faculty. So that's how she's been with us now. So I hand it over to Roshni to talk a little bit about our collaborations, how we go about our
Thank you, ma'am. So just taking off from what Architect Pooja has highlighted about our curriculum, I would like to discuss a few points about how we use our industry collaborations and institutional collaboration to enhance the learning experience for our students. So firstly, at a national level, we are the members of the Council of Architecture and the Indian Institute of Architects, which are the premier organizations in the country that regulate architectural education. So our curriculum, the different kinds of courses that we offer, the electives, the online courses that we offer are all in line with this syllabus that is prescribed within both these organizations. Apart from that, we have a good set of international collaborations as well with foreign universities like the University of Dundee and ETSAB. Coming to other kind of organizations within the industry as such, starting off with an NGO which is INTACT, that is the Indian National Trust for Art, Culture and Heritage. We have an MOU with them, and we are also a member with the organization as a lifetime member. And we have in the past conducted activities with them to give a hands-on experience to our students, wherein we onboarded the technical coordinator and the conservation architect of the Intact Bengaluru chapter for our conservation studies elective, and students were involved in the documentation of lesser known heritage structures at Nandi Hills, which is very close to our university again. So giving a lot more contextual understanding and about the setting that they are studying in, which went on to become a part of the uh, master plan development for the Nandi Hills project that the government is going to execute in the next couple of years as well. So the students had a great learning experience, and they will take away a lot from it because they have contributed in to real-time projects as well. Another such collaboration that we have is with Ethos ASEDge online platform that was started by architect Geeta Balakrishnan to bring out a different aspect and approach to architectural pedagogy and the education as such in our country, which has spread its wings into different realms today. They started off with just developing online courses that cannot be offered through the universities and through the curriculum that is prescribed by the COA. But today they are more into a lot more social causes, competitions. So they have different terminologies for each of these initiatives. And one such initiative is the Walk with Our Cause initiative, which we were a part of for the last 3 to 4 months. And the entire last semester, from January to May, our students participating in different socially relevant causes and initiatives, wherein our whole idea was to improve the design literacy among the general public. And as a part of that, we conducted several activities. One such activity was the Kalakruti 2.0, wherein we invited school students from across Bangalore to participate in essay writing, painting, and quiz competitions that was related to a specific theme. And our theme was Bangalore and Namma Uru Bengaluru. And we had a great participation from students from the 8th, 9th, and 10th standards. So we'll just take a quick glimpse of the initiative. So another great MOU and collaboration with an expert industry, I would say, that we recently signed off on was with IPITI, which is the Indian Plywood Research Institute, and they do a lot of research in substitutes of timber and its new developments and evolutions in the particular material that is timber and bamboo. So what we planned for this semester specifically is, as Pooja ma'am was mentioning, that we have specific self-directed learning courses. A set of students will be working with this organization to develop a particular prototype that can be used later for different types of providing different types of design solutions as well. So overall, I would say that all these collaborations are directed towards making our students change makers and job providers, which is in line with our Chancellor Sir's vision also. So, and apart from all these industry collaborations, we as a university have a lot of student outreach initiatives and planned out as well. So, as a part of the Central University itself, there are these other initiatives called as Jagriti and Abhivriddhi, to which I would like to discuss in detail, where our students have actively participated, which has further helped them in their design and integrating them in all the other courses that we offer here. The first one being Abhivriddhi, which I think we would all say that we can take great pride in it with what we have achieved and done very recently again. So this was an initiative wherein we had to adopt a government school in the Devanali district. It's within the district in Jalige, a small village over there. So what we planned there with our faculty coordinators and our group of students who chose to volunteer for that initiative is, there was one old building wherein the students could not use it. So they were actually sitting outside without a classroom and without a roof. So our students came forward along with our faculty coordinators, and they decided to demolish the existing old building and reuse and as much as possible build within the same footprint, so that they understand that there's no more addition to the carbon footprint as well. So they themselves came up with the entire design, and they were involved with the demolition process and the execution on site as well. And this was not just one semester or one group of students. As and when we saw that there was a lot of active participation, there was a lot of vertical learning that happened throughout the entire process. And very recently, we were successful in handing over the building to the headmaster of the government school, and we had a inauguration ceremony as well. We will look in the video as well in a few seconds, but a little bit about the structure as such that we built. Again, being very sensitive to what is happening with respect to the climate change today, we developed a very eco-friendly classroom that involved a lot of integration of the concepts that they learn in the classroom. You will look in the video as well. There is a filler slab, there is a rat trap bond that is used in the construction as well, and a lot of more visual art aspects that the students learn in the lower semesters. So we utilize different. Let's just take a quick look at the video.
Yeah, I think that has been the most fulfilling thing for us, for all of us this year, that we were able to hand over Medhavi to the Jalige school. So this is really project-based learning. You know, you are given a site, you are trying to reuse what is possible. You've understood market trends. You've understood market, material expenses that are there outside. You evaluate whether to recover and reuse, or you build a new. You've done estimates. You know what the actual prices of things are in the market. You've used your hands. You've understood structures, whether something is going to stand, something at what point does it collapse. So it's absolutely, integrating all the subject knowledge into one project and really learning from it. So this is project-based learning in its true sense. And as a pedagogy also, we have tried this in many of the earlier studios and found a lot of success with that. So
if I may add here, ma'am, we are also very research heavy, in the sense that we take what ma'am was saying about the inquisition, about trying to answer questions for the future. There is a lot of learning that happens in the present, but what about future questions? What about being change makers in the world? And these kinds of sparks come out only when you start asking questions about the future, when you start experimenting with things that are still not available. So research helps a lot in that, and we are very research heavy. We try and push students with their own facilities and their own abilities in different directions, so that they start questioning the built environment, and they try and make a difference to the built environment, even if it is not built in the present tense.
We also have a subject at undergrad level, which is research writing, where we encourage students to take up anything that interests them. There is a faculty who helps them through the process, and then they come out with the actual paper.
Yes.
So, this writing skills is something very important, because once they've gone into their masters, they're expected to publish. So then it doesn't just come, drop down from the skies at that age. You need to know how to write, especially for a generation which has stopped reading. It is an uphill task, I would say. But then we are trying. So I'd like to finally hand it over to Raghu. Professor Raghu is doing something very fulfilling, I would say. He's teaching and he's practicing. So he is heading our startup. We call it the Idea Consultancy Cell from the School of Architecture, where we've taken on projects and we've executed them. And I'd hand it over to Raghu to throw some light on how that experience has been.
Yeah. So I would like to add on to what ma'am has said. Actually, it is fulfilling to an architect who is teaching and practicing. And we had this idea of putting up this Idea Consultancy Cell last year. And we have successfully completed many projects within Reva University, and we are actually pitching for projects outside Reva. And this consultancy cell is a team of a few people, the architects who are in-house people. And we also take students into confidence, and we make them work for the projects where we are working in the university itself. And we showcase the work from the scratch, from the conceptual level to the execution level, what are problems we face or what are the challenges being tackled in the site on the spot, with the different vendors coming into the picture, and we will tell them how to tackle them, and we will show the real site experience through this kind of work. And we make these higher semester students, that is from the 6th semester, make us a little work being done, and they will try to understand. So their work being put up in the site. So that's kind of fulfillment what they get. So this is what I have designed. So it's kind of a good feeling what students will get. At the same time, we are also pitching for outside projects. Yes, we are trying for that also as well. And our aim is a kind of institutional internship, where we could offer internship for the students of our own students within the Reva itself. That is our ultimate goal. And I would like to throw upon a light on a few of the aspects which I want to actually am spearheading about IQAC cell, as well as extracurricular activities also. Not only the students are taken care by the mentoring vertical in terms of how are you, what are you doing in your subjects, how everything is going on. We also take care of the internal quality, that is the teaching, how the student is getting the content delivered. So we take care about the internal quality. So we ask the students, about 2 to 5 people, we call them up as class representatives or anybody for that matter. We will ask the problems of the student, how are the content is delivered. So do you face any problem in understanding them, or do you want any more inputs on some kind of subject? So it is a kind of feedback what we get from the students. So that helps us in revising the course content, the curriculum, what we say, and the pedagogy, the teaching style, what we actually follow. So there are multiple ways of trying new aspects in the by taking this kind of initiatives. And yeah, of course, not only the quality of the teaching also, we also encourage them, the students basically to participate in activities outside Reva, like if it is a cricket competition or a chess competition. We encourage them to go for inter-college competitions, where recently our students have participated in BMS inter-college competition and they have won some awards also. So like that, we actually make them to move out of Reva and explore new things and win something and come back and make us proud. So that is what. And our publications, our research, our innovations also, we are actually thinking of in a more broader perspective. I can say that by we are actually pitching for some copyrights where students are actually interested in, and patents. We are trying for that also as well. Product design. There are so many different aspects actually when a student comes into our university or our school basically. So he is exposed to many things. So where he can choose, pick and choose what he can want to learn, or where he can actually go in that different line of thinking. So this is what we actually do in our school, which is happening right now. And we are kind of a highly energetic batch of faculty. We are more family, and it's a small family, kind of 20-25 faculty within the school. And we are more energetic in that line and in teaching or sharing anything for that matter. So having a small content of faculty and the students, we know them one-to-one. So
Yes.
the mentoring becomes easy. We know them by name, by face, or so we just by walking across the corridor, we get wished by them and we talk to them. So there is a kind of a bonding that happens because it's a 5-year-long course. We get to know everything about them in 5 years. So that's about it.
There's a lot of give and take. Like just the other day, I approached Raghu sir and I was like, I'm taking up a construction class. Can you just help us out with your idea consultancy cell? He's building partition walls in one of his projects. And I wanted to take some of my students, my class to, site to just show him inside the campus. So there's a lot of give and take that happens. We've had students who have been a part of architecture, and then they are also doing diploma courses in the School of Performing Arts. So there is a whole kind of give and take that happens across the university, which is very healthy and very easy to kind of navigate. That's something that we encourage.
Yeah, and about idea consultancy, we would like to show 2 slides, which when you come for admission, that's the first page you're going to enter for admission, so you can have a look at it. So this was designed by my team, the idea consultancy team, where you actually come to this space for taking up admissions. And next. Yeah, that's the space what we have designed recently, and it is in full swing, being used by the admissions. Yeah, over to you.
Thank you, Raghu, for wonderfully putting that. The students are getting a very holistic education here with the projects that are right here in our own backyard. Whether it is interiors, whether it is casting of the slab, whether it's an innovative staircase that is going on, whether it's pre-engineered, pre-stressed, pre-engineered steel structures. Everything is happening here because that's a given. Every campus will keep having building activities happen, but then the faculty to preconceive that class and say, yes, this class, this is going on. I will take my students there and show it to them, and then they come back. So that kind of it requires a lot from the faculty, I would say, and I'm very happy that the faculty here are taking this kind of interest, and it's been a great ride so far. Do we have anything else to show?
Just adding on a couple more points. So we spoke about all our curriculum, the activities that we have, the outreach that we have, but where do our students end up? So we also have a separate cell called as a training and placement cell, where we work closely with our central career development center as well, cell as well, where in 2017 we were able to develop a first of its kind placement brochure that we could circulate among the architecture firms and MNCs and organizations across the country as well, and because of which some of the students landed interviews with these organizations as well. So we not just take care of them when they are here, we are also looking at their future for them, and we want them to come back to us as alumni and engage with us in bringing out better curriculum, in bringing out more interactions with the current students and engaging them with more activities, getting back some of them to give talks to our current students as well, because some of them have established their own firms today and have been quite successful as well.
Right, right. And one advantage of going through a central level career development center is the kind of opportunities that have come up. Like traditionally, I think everybody was trying to get in as a junior architect in a firm, but now we have positions like business development officers who are, scouting out projects, trying to sell the design idea. So that's a whole gamut of knowledge of design and the power to sell, so that's something that new career opportunities are coming up because we are able to get this exposure from the central team. Another career opportunity, I think, is what we are calling as outreach officers now, catalysts for outreach programs. And, it's extremely interesting to see what is there on offer and for our students to grab these opportunities. I think it's amazing. So that in a nutshell was all that we do. I think it's important when you're looking for a career in architecture to first understand that whether you have the passion for it. That's extremely important. We can work with students who don't come with that passion, but it's always nice to get students who know what is architecture and who already have an idea about how committed they need to be. So, do you have anything else to show?
We'll just take you through a little journey of what our students have here at our school through a small presentation.
Yeah. There's experiential learning, activity-based learning. They're always doing something. And this is the school adoption where they're painting. Some of the visual arts activities, alumni coming and sharing in the thesis studio how their journey was.
1 second. I think the presentation mode is not showing up. If you can close this and reshare.
Is it better now? We can't hear you. You're muted, sir.
Oh, sorry, it's on presentation mode, but we can see the next slide coming up as well.
Okay, never mind. We'll just rush through it. It's just
Sure.
this.
Yeah.
What we do, what we like. Sort of hands-on, outside classroom learning, product design. We start them young. Each club has its own activities. Here they're doing a survey on a live site. Yeah, and this was a gesture from our school where we just gave out saplings for our passing out students so that they continue the tradition. They take care of the legacy of Reva, so to say. Yeah, another visual arts activity. We give a lot of opportunities for students to express their talent and for faculty to express their talent. Yeah. So we wanted to keep it light. We've just had a very conversational mode of presentation here. And I think what we wanted to establish was that a personal connect. We are here. You can come and see our campus. We'd love to show you around. We have a permanent exhibition of students' works. And the campus is just so beautiful that you'd want to stay, definitely. So over to you, Dion. That was all from our end. I think we've covered everything: curriculum, student life, what happens when they're finishing, all our program offerings. So a little more about the kind of admissions that we get and the type it is structured in. We have two sections. That is 80 students is the intake. And why are we not having Dion then?
I'm here. I'm very much here.
So we have 80 intake for BR, and the new program offering BSc, it comes without any NATA eligibility. Obviously, it's not a BR. So students who still have a creative streak but have not done maths, physics, chemistry, they've done commerce or they've done arts. Now, if they decide that interior design is something that they can flourish in, so that eligibility comes for BSc. We have both management seats as well as the CET seats and COMEDK seats. So last year, our best rank, I'm proud to say that CET toppers are seeking out Reva. So our best rank was 19. We had a student with the 19th rank seeking out Reva, and we are very proud of that. I'm sure her journey has been very fulfilling so far. And the last rank was 984 last year. So we're getting better and better with the cutoffs every year, obviously, because as a school, we are showing growth. We are adding programs. We are staying relevant, right? We are constantly working on our curriculum. So this is something I think which all students can and parents can easily discern. Is the school growing? Is the school staying relevant? So I think we tick both the boxes, and we'd love to have a new batch over and start this exciting journey all over again. So over to you. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. I think this is a very, very nice interaction with you all. I think it was very clear, well structured, and we got a real good feeling of what the college is like and the opportunities it offers to students. Just wanted to understand, what is the admission process like? Is it through CET? Is it through COMEDK? Do you all have your own admission process? How does it work?
Yes, as I said, we have both the CET and the management quota. We are taking admissions right now for the management quota, and this is open to Pan India and for Karnataka students. So the admission process is very simple. There is an application form to fill, and there is an admission office beautifully designed by our team. So you can come right here, and they will explain about the fee structure and everything else. You can take the admission. We are looking at a start date of September 7th. So with the students who have already taken admissions through the management quota, we are looking at a start of September 7th. If by then the CET counseling gets completed, then we add them on, or we wait and they merge on to the class that has already started. So that's our action plan. And COMEDK also, we have given seats this year. We did have some interest in 2020 batch. We had a few COMEDK students, but 2021, strangely, we did not have too many interest from COMEDK students. It was mostly CET and management. This year, we leave it open. If CET students and COMEDK students want to grab the opportunity, it's theirs. Otherwise, it passes on to the management.
All right, that's great. At this point of time, if anyone wants to ask questions, you can raise your hand on on Zoom, and I'll allow you to ask your question. But if someone wants to ask the question on YouTube, you can type the question in on YouTube and I'll moderate the question. Um, so having said that, I saw a few interesting aspects which I wanted to specifically talk about because I found it is very different from what the other schools are offering. Um, One of the things is the opportunities for your own students to be part of projects, right? That is your captive projects as well. I mean, I've seen that the admission cell and even the fundamental. I've been to your school, the atrium with all the staircases, very beautifully designed, right? So from the promoters, the Divyashree Group. So do you all get to see their sites? Because I know that they have a lot of sites in progress. So do you all get to see the sites that they work on? Do your students get to work on those, or at least visit them?
We do have site visits where we take the students to the Divyashree sites, not only Divyashree sites, for any site for that matter. And our university is making our school to work more on PBL, that is project-based learning. So we take them not only to Divyashree and many other sites which are ongoing. Basically, we take permissions from our school end, we take them, we spend a day or two, and not only within Bangalore, if it is outside Bangalore also, we are actually going to different sites to showcase if it is a very good thing to have a on-site visit for the students. And coming to the projects, what the Divyashree is doing currently, our students are not involved as such, but in future we have plans to make them collaborate with Divyashree also.
Also,
That's
we
yeah,
have
go on.
faculties. So we are all full timers, and we have a bunch of people who come down from practice, who become visiting faculty, and they become a part of our studios and classrooms. Now each of them is a practicing architect. So many a times we are also going to their site visits. So when they are practicing, they make it a point that our students are involved in their site visits as well. So in that way, there is a healthy mix of what happens inside the classroom and what happens on site.
Yeah. I mean, she's talking about visiting faculty. It's an interesting story. We had a couple of practicing architects come as jurors for our thesis viva. And you won't believe it, Dion. I mean, they were like recruiting over there. Oh, wonderful. Your work is so nice. You put together things beautifully. You have great rendering skills. Will you come and join my office? So that was really nice to see that on the spot they were saying, okay, like I'm calling dibs on this fellow. So, yeah.
That's very interesting. My next question is to Professor Roshni. You spoke about some very interesting things. One is the Abhivruddhi project, where there was, the part of the school which you all had to work on. The general awareness activities that you all are conducting with, to uh, spread the sense of design and architecture within the community in general. The other aspect was all the socially relevant activities and causes, and of course the Nandi Hills projects. Really, by getting involved, because these seem to be a lot more socially relevant or community relevant projects, right? How does that actually help the students build a better perspective, a better personality, and make them a more holistic architect?
So today, I think from when we all studied as students of architecture, we were having only one notion that you're going to become just an architect. But today, architecture has just become a creative base or a platform which they can use to explore to become, a socialist architect or a conservation architect or an environmental architect. So all these realms which are popping up, it's because of what is happening in our world today, whether it's climate change or whether it's sustainability, which is the way forward, that is right from UNESCO to UNICEF to all these organizations are bringing in sustainability as an important aspect. So as we already mentioned that we are very change oriented and industry oriented, we work for the current trends. So the current trend is that you need to make the students more socially relevant to what are these actual problems. These are real world problems. They need to be told how you tackle with them, how you deal with them. You need to go juggle and fight for the right price for your product. So all these things is what we had in mind when we came up with this initiative as well. So we have a lot more in the pipeline for this current semester as well. We are starting off a new club which is called as the Arc Cause Club, where we are working for the cause of architecture. How can architecture bring about a better change in the society? Like, can we make our society more literate with respect to design, with respect to other wider aspects of design? It's not just architecture, both visual arts, there's performing arts, other things. So that is the whole idea of these initiatives.
And if I may add here, I mean, Roshni is a part of it. We are just about to start off on something called Parampara, where we plan to reach out to schools and we plan to kind of help them set up a heritage club so that even school-going children are made aware of the cultural heritage that belongs to us. And if we as architects can contribute even to school children being aware of their built environment and the culture that goes around it, we'll be really happy at the end of the day.
So basically, we're making our students ambassadors of architecture, whether it is in the social realm or whether it's in the cultural heritage realm or in the environmental realm, any of these. Again, they can choose their paths, but we're trying to make them more relevant and oriented towards what is happening in the world today through these initiatives.
All right, it's interesting, Professor Pooja, that you bring up the built environment in that, because really the built environment is what we are trying to reshape, isn't it? It's not just the individual building or project, but the overall structure, the community space. And possibly, if I can come to what you spoke about right at the beginning, right, where you spoke about, let's say, the history of architecture, right? When you spoke about that and you showed us the beautiful models that were made, really what you are doing is trying to make students or the students of Reva very involved, or it's more like an experiential or more like an immersive experience, learning experience, right? Because you said that this history of architecture, and then you'll get the learning done through quizzes and drawings and sketching and the real evaluation and more like a discussion on that, right? That was a very interesting approach that you spoke about in terms of the immersive learning experience, in terms of the skill development you're giving, and really a differentiated learning process. I would like to, build up on the one-on-one mentoring session, on the one-to-one mentoring sessions as to how y'all are, how is that shaping each student? Because I think the learning, so students have different learning abilities, right? Somebody goes slower, somebody goes faster. Through your one-on-one mentoring sessions, how does that really help students catch up, so to speak, right? Because somebody who's lagging behind probably needs to catch up. How does that happen?
I think it takes time. It takes time to build a certain conversation, to build a certain relationship with the student. And it's not just the student, we also involve the parents, because in today's world, I believe, thanks to technology, it's very easy to kind of communicate what's happening, the overall performance of the student. The parent is well aware of what is happening. And the students come with every student is so different. They are so quintessentially different that sometimes it's very fascinating that something that is extremely easy for one particular person or one particular subject becomes very fascinating to a particular person, but then the same person probably doesn't like another subject. So these kinds of smaller the nuances that you have to take care of. There are children who don't cope too well with timings. Some children function better in the evenings, some of them function better in the mornings. Then there is the parent-children issue sometimes, like sometimes the parent expects something else out of the child, and then the child has another kind of a vision for themselves. So these are the kind of things that we end up being a party to. Sometimes we are observers of what's happening, but at the core of the situation, it's to do with the well-being of that student. We treat that student as an individual. We ask them to take the decisions. They are adults. They are making their future in the college. That's at the core of all the mentoring. That we try to make them feel. That we try to treat them like adults. So even with all the parental counseling and all, I mean, all our daily issues include, why are the kids going and practicing that dance there? And there's so much of singing and dancing happening all the time. And then there are times when the teachers are fighting between the curriculum and the extra curriculum and all of that. But having said all of that, it shapes that student and their identity holistically. And we as mentors try to ensure that happens to them.
Fantastic. We see very similar things happening with us at dqlabs as well, because students have those different learning abilities or interests, like you put it. It's very interesting to see how they pick up, when they're given that personalized mentoring.
Ultimately, everybody gets there, Dion. So we don't have to worry. Everybody gets there.
All right. There's a question from Kushi. Kushi, it's your turn to unmute and ask your question.
Hi, good evening all. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, thanks dqlabs and Reva for organizing this a fantastic session and gave us a lot of information on this. In fact, I'm Kushi's father speaking rather. Okay, so I personally visited Reva University earlier, and I think interacted with one of their staff members as well. It's quite impressed with the fantastic campus that you have built. Honestly, it's very eye-catching, and even as a parent, I didn't want you to come out of the campus so I can understand the way the students feel when they come into the campus. Honestly, it's a beautiful campus that you built across. Okay, my question is very basic. Sorry if it is very premature way of asking this question. I had one small doubt. In fact, somebody got this worm into my brain. Honestly, as a parent, I need to really get this clarified from the staff themselves. Okay. Reva is an university which set up its own syllabus, and it set up its own curriculum to suit the modern technology, whatever the requirement of the students is. And on the other side, it's VTU, which also has got its standardized syllabus and all that stuff. Okay, so there is a ambiguity. Should I go to a VTU curriculum college, or it's a independent university college, which is better? At the end of the course, what's the future of the child? Where do they get picked up for the job, or if they plan for a higher education? Which university prefers what kind of background and all the stuff? So if you can just throw a little time, because you're all the professionals, and I think you've swam the sea more than I've seen. So I think it's better, like if I hear it from yourselves.
Sure.
Before you take that answer, can I thank you for asking this question, because it's a very relevant question, number one. And
Yeah.
number two is, this is the specific reason why this session has been organized, so that you can ask your question directly to the management. And looking forward to hearing from Professor Shrikant.
Thank you.
Right. So it's a very difficult question to answer, because every university, every institute has its own pros and cons, their strengths, their weakness. I can only talk about our strength, which you've already seen, the way the curriculum is designed. If your ward is passionate about the subject and really wants to curate their own curriculum, it's a different matter that you have a fixed curriculum, but ours, you can even curate your learning. You can pick a subject from AI and ML, programming, maybe. You can pick a subject from IPR, legal studies. You can pick a subject from any of the Swayam portals, MOOC platforms. You can do something hands-on to earn that credit. So I think this kind of curated curriculum is not there in many places. It might be there in a few, I'm not very sure, but this is something that we have tried and it has worked. And we are able to do this because we have a board of governors who approves these measures. We put it up periodically in the central level board of governors meetings, and it's hashed out. And if they feel it's a measure, assessment methods, there have been so many changes in the assessment methods over the last 6 years that I have been with the institute. And each one is, first initiated by our controller of examinations. And now, especially with the NEP saying that you need to test for different competencies, numeracy and literacy and, self-assessment, peer assessment, all of this we have tried. And this has been approved by our board. And yes, some things work, some things don't. I'm very open about that. Some things have worked for us, some things haven't, but we have not been afraid to try. I think that is where we show that we are growing as an institute. So that is a decision that your ward will have to make. Moving on, I think another thing is if it is higher studies, then the accreditation of the university matters. Whether it's private or if it is VTU, it'll all be evened out because we're all there with the NAC, we're all there with the NIRF. So once a larger body is giving us that accreditation, then it is all even when they go for their higher studies. And if it is jobs, I think the skills you have picked up, the leadership abilities, the group working abilities, those will stand out. And I don't think our Reva graduates have fallen short in any way. We've had good feedback from the internship officers who have recruited them, and they've taken back other students in the lower batches. So that is a good indicator that what we're doing it right. And again, our emphasis is not getting a job, but rather, creating jobs for others. So we train very well in starting your own firm, whether it is architecture or whether they're going to move on to some related field of architecture, they will become good entrepreneurs. So that is the USP of the school. So I think I've answered what you've asked.
Yeah. Thanks for the answer. I would say honestly, I more or less, freezed in on Reva. Hopefully, I'm just waiting. Either should I approach you directly or should I wait for the CET or the Comet K stuff? Honestly, thanks for your answers. Thank you, dqlabs, and thank you, Reva. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Jagdish. Right, I think we just go with the last question, and we've covered almost everything that needs to be covered. Just one last question to Professor Divyashree Group. We see that. Let me take the new roads being developed in Bangalore as an example, right? What we've seen is the new infrastructure, the way the new roads have been developed, bins all over the place. We've noticed that the littering has actually stopped or minimized, right? Not what it used to be before. So this talks about design having an impact on or really shaping the communities, right? Changing behavior of the communities. How do you look at the future of architecture, right, in shaping communities to change behaviors, probably stop honking, probably focus on cleanliness or things like that? How do you see the future of architecture shaping communities?
Dion, I've become a Gen X. I think I'll let a Gen Y answer this question. Okay, any of you?
I think architecture is a foundation course. It basically allows you to start thinking about how you can plug yourself into community to make a change. So whether it is, if I have to talk academically, we have subjects like urban design, we have subjects like sociology, which are very much plugged into the architectural curriculum. And we're talking about, right to education. We're talking about barrier-free architecture, which talks about universal design. Somebody who's on a wheelchair, somebody who is LGBTQ, somebody who is, any minority in society. And we have learnings that talk about being equal to everybody, whether it is first we sensitize students to become sensitive to the environment, design comes next. So a lot of our courses are actually designed towards sensitizing individuals. Let's talk about the issues that everybody faces in society today. The next step is to sensitively design. So I think that is a stepping stone towards becoming a change maker. If you can evaluate and understand your society for what it is in today's context, and if you find yourself equipped enough with the skill set that a college like Reva can provide you, then by all means, you will become change makers based on your aptitude in the world tomorrow.
I think that's a fantastic way to end this session. Great vision from the school, great support from your from the faculty. Looks like one of the things that I notice very specifically about Reva is all the faculty are really involved with so many things that are happening at the school. I know Professor Sanjeev is not on this panel, but he's been someone I've been in touch with for many years, and I see him being an instrumental part of getting a lot of students or getting the visibility of Reva there. But he's always in the background. So thank Professor Sanjeev for really making this happen. Thanks to all of you on the panel, Dr. Vidya, Professor Pooja, Professor Roshni, and Professor Raghu. I think it's been a wonderful session. We've far exceeded our time, but it's been so interesting that we just couldn't stop. All right. But thanks so much for taking the time out to be here and interacting with our parents and students and patiently answering all questions.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
so
Dion.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity, and looking forward to more interesting sessions. Let's not meet just during admissions and when the BR program is going to start. Let us meet on more platforms. It's been a wonderful talk. Thank you.
Thanks.